English fine? Okay, I feel like Virginia speaks English a lot more anyway. It's good to be here with all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, I was Zaynab Mohamed. It's good to be here with all of you. I'm so happy to be here in Virginia. When I was talking to Adab Kamal a few weeks ago, and he was like, you should come to Minnesota, you should come to Virginia. I was kind of thinking about what it would be like here, what the community would be like, and I was kind of reflecting back on why I decided to run for office, why I decided to embark on this journey. And a lot of people know this, my journey is intertwined a lot with my brother Fatah, who is currently representing Minnesota, who's from here in your community. I was in politics before that, and I kind of had an interest in policy, but not necessarily the political aspect of running for office or being a public figure. But I was really interested in policy and analyzing how policies can reflect our lives and make our lives better. And so my current senator retired back in December. The seat opened up, and so I started to get calls and text messages and phone calls that I should run. And I was like, no, that's insane. I will not do it. But I did it, and the reason I did it is because of the fact that there is so many disparities in our government system, especially for our communities, for Somali people, for Black people, for everyone across the board. And I wanted to be a part of a government that creates systems that makes our lives a little bit easier and not harder. And so that's kind of the message of our campaign. That's what we started to run on. And what that meant was, we know how the government can show up for us during a global crisis when there's a pandemic and an uprising in our city. And we know that it can give us health care. We know that they show up and they take care of our small businesses. But what about those of us who live in that crisis every day of our lives and not just a pandemic? And so we decided to kind of write our policies, talk to people every day. And over time, people kind of related to our story, related to my story of coming here to America, related to my story of being a young girl who grew up in South Minneapolis, who is a part of this community, who fought for this community. And I deeply care about South Minneapolis. But I really care about people who look like me across the board in making sure that we are not only talked about at the table or spoken of or reflected upon, but that we do have a seat at the table and that our community is able to create those policies that are reflective of us, of our values, of who we are, of what we want to stand for. And so I'm running on a platform of obviously fully funding our healthcare system and making sure that your healthcare is not tied to your job or your mom or your family, but that you do get it because it's simply a human aspect. And that you as a human being should be respected for who you are and should be taken care of simply because you're a human being and not on the basis of political views that we have. And so, I obviously got the support of my family and my friends and our community, and we won our primary with 68%, even though we had a challenger, somebody who was from our community who challenged us in May. People related more to our story. People wanted somebody who is reflective of our community to represent us, to speak about us. And so to be quite honest with you, running for office is hard and it's a long road, but we're almost done. And the reason I did it and why it feels really good and why I am proud of the fact that we are gonna win, inshallah, come November, and we're gonna make history, is not because we're gonna make history. It's because it's our community that's gonna be at that table. There have been so many people who asked me to run, who've been a part of my story. Obviously, my other Kamal is a part of my story since day one in America. I had my first burger when I came here because of him. So I know it sounds funny, but I really did. And I tell everyone, and so he's intertwined and a part of my story, and he's watched me grow up and be a part of this community, and he knows what I'm gonna do. And so I hope you all feel a part of what this moment means, what this year means for our community, not because so many of us are gonna be elected, but so many of us who are gonna create policies that are gonna make your lives a little bit easier, are gonna be elected. And I hope that you not only are a part of this tonight, but you continue being a part of my story, of our story. You continue showing up for us. And I hope that you get involved here in Virginia and you get one or two people elected. This is, Come on, let's do it, you guys. So thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and thank you for organizing this, and thank you for coming on a Saturday night when you could be doing 10 million things. Ada umahatan tahay, ada real, ada umahatan ti, ada so wala ako haba, may marahamag kartan dali ahada.